$13,000 deposit, not 1,300, not $13, not 13, nothing. 13,000. Hey everyone, I am back with another video. I know it's been a long time since my last video. I told y'all I was going to stay consistent, and I am going to. I just need y'all to work with me, give me a little bit of grace, and also be active in the comments. Give me updates, give me new ideas of what to talk about, because I'm kind of running out of some topics and I really don't know what y'all guys want to see versus traveling videos, self-care videos, fitness and health videos. I need to know what y'all want to see, and I'm gonna provide. I am giving y'all all the gems, no gatekeeping, about Tulum. Have you ever been to Tulum? Or are you traveling to Tulum? I went to Tulum recently, and I kind of want to go over some details of everything that I have learned and wish I knew before going. So let's get right into it. Okay, y'all. So the first thing I want to get into, the first advice I want to get into is for you to get pesos. Before you do anything, make sure you do the research of the country that you're going into, and make sure you get that currency in pesos. If you're going to Tulum, for instance, that's what we did. And when you get pesos, the best way to go about it is to get it before you leave out the country. Get it at your local bank. The currency at your local bank is easier and it's cheaper that way than to go into a ATM, or when you hit that country, going to their bank. In the previous video, if you have watched the things you need to know before traveling outside the country or traveling in general, is do your research. Wherever you're going, you always want to do your research. Look into the currencies and see their prices. Is it cheaper to travel there? Is it more expensive to travel there? Do your research no matter what. It will help you tremendously. It's also easier to get that currency, in this case pesos, when we went to Tulum, because you're able to match the prices more easier when you're going and you're shopping and you're going to these restaurants and you're spending money. It's easier to match their pesos, it's easier to match their currency in that particular country than USD dollars. That leads me into my next advice, is tips. Now, whether you tip people or not, I wanted to specify or go into it a little bit in detail. When we went to Tulum, we went to this nightlife club, and when we were ready to get the check, they implemented their own tip without our consent. Now, when you want to tip somebody, you pay and then you tip after, before you leave. Well, in this case, they already just put the tip on the receipt and they just implemented it. And it wasn't a restaurant where it was automatically gratuity. I don't think they do that at all in Tulum, but they just included their own tip. So make sure that you're looking at everything that you ordered, and make sure that you look at that receipt. When I mentioned prior to the currency, it's easier for you to get the pesos in this case in advance, so you're matching their currency versus you trying to pay in USD dollars and then converting it into pesos. So it's just easier all around. A piece of advice I would like to go over is huge. I can't stress this enough. Is renting a car. So when you travel to Tulum, I personally think that it was convenient for you to rent a car, but you can also get by if you like to ride bikes or anything like that. It's way cheaper, and you can get by and go anywhere as far as transportation that way. But in this case, we decided to rent a car. We did research before we traveled to Tulum, and the original price to rent a car was $300, which was affordable for us. And when we got there, this was the kicker. We got there, we went to the place, and they said that it was a $13,000 deposit. $13,000 deposit, not 1,300, not $13, not 13, nothing. $13,000 to put down a deposit to get the rental car. Now, the math is not mathing. And I was confused when I heard that, because I'm like, this doesn't sound correct. this sounds very diabolical. I was just like, this doesn't make any sense to me. Why is it $13,000? I never heard anything like that before. So we was like, no, this isn't going to work. They try to keep us and try to like negotiate the price, but we was just like, no, this isn't for us. So we went to another rental company. It was like, I want to say maybe like 8 different rental companies that was waiting for like your service. And we decided to go to another rental place, and they wanted a little bit more money than we expected as well. So luckily we found one that was like in range with our pricing, and we was like, okay, we're gonna go with this, which is perfect. And by the way, you have to have a credit card. I don't believe they could take any debit. You have to have a credit card in order to get a rental car. So it worked in our favor, but just keep in mind they do have like a lot of hidden deposits and fees that we was not expecting and we was not prepared for. Wish we knew that a little sooner. It kind of was nerve-wracking because we had to keep going to different companies to see their pricing when we thought that we did our due diligence in advance before we went to Tulum. So it kind of caught us off guard, but it worked out. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Make sure you do your inspections. Make sure that you do a video of what the car looked like prior to you taking off the lot. That is very important, because if they was to try to say, oh, this dent is from you, you can prove that it's not, and it was already there before you took off from their lot. So that's something that we was doing prior to us leaving. They drive crazy. And when I say they drive crazy, I mean if they're behind you, they will jump ship right in front of you, and in the other lane people will be coming and they'll be close, and that person would just like skirt skirt right in front. And I've seen it happen with like a big truck. Somebody did that, and I'm like, oh my god, they drive crazy, and they do that frequently there. So definitely keep that in mind. So that brings me to my next topic, which is the landscapes in Tulum. Tulum is a beautiful place, and you can tell that it's expanding tremendously. When we left the hotel, the owner told us like, oh, it's changing so much, and it's going to be so sad if you come back in the next 6 months, it's not even going to look like this anymore. So it's expanding a lot, and it's going to be more touristy. Instead of them calling it home, it'll be very touristy there. And we noticed that when we got to Tulum, because it was a lot of construction. They are building new houses, they're building new hotels, they're building new activities and things in that sort. So it was a lot of construction around the area that we were particularly in. I believe they're trying to make it a resort type of vibe in Tulum. One thing I would say, going to Tulum, it made me grateful for what I have here in the United States. It made me grateful because certain things was kind of sad to see, how like they live and their housing. So it definitely put a lot of things in perspective for me. So when you go to Tulum, that's another thing. If you don't already know, if you've never been to Mexico, that is a thing that is frequent there. Next piece of advice is mosquitoes in Tulum. So when we talk about mosquitoes, you can't get away. You cannot get away from them. No matter how much you prepare, you're going to get ate up. And like, you're going to get ate up. There's no way around it. It's inevitable. We did everything we could. We prepared, because we did look at videos just like this before we left to go to Tulum. And they was telling us about the mosquitoes there. So we prepared, and we got like repellent bracelets. And then we got like this, it looked like a humidifier, like a bug repellent machine, and then that helped our room to like keep away the mosquitoes. But no matter what we did, they still got us. But imagine us not having that. Like, I feel like we would have got ate up way worse. So no matter what, you're just gonna get ate. So you just gotta embrace it. But definitely make sure you get stuff for mosquitoes when you head to Tulum. And the stuff that we ordered, I will put in the description below. So the next thing I want to discuss is hidden fee deposits. So the hidden fee deposits was a thing in Tulum that we did not prepare for. When we got pesos, if we can go back in time, I would highly suggest that we would have got more money in pesos, because what we did is we went to Tulum and we had pesos and we had USD dollars just in case. But we should have just got all our money in pesos, because that would have made things so much easier for us. Starting with the rental car, I already mentioned y'all about that wasn't a thing when we did research. So it was so confusing when we got there and they said $13,000. Like, what? So that was a whole thing. And then we got to our hotel. Now listen, I already paid the hotel in advance. They wanted $400 as like a security deposit. And I don't remember reading that at all. So I was like, oh, wow, good thing I got it. But it was just like, I wasn't prepared mentally to put a deposit down for that. Excursions. So when we went to our excursions, we did a package where we swam in the cenote, which is a cave. It was so beautiful, and it came with zip lining. We did like 3 or 4 zip lining activities, and then it also came with ATVs, and ATVs was really fun too. So when we got to the ATVs, because we did ATVs first, they told us that even though we paid, there was a security deposit as well for that we was unaware of. So make sure you read carefully and you know what you're getting yourself into when you do these activities. You may have to spend more than you think. Get into the excursions a little bit more that we did, which was so fun. I highly suggest it for you to go to a cenote, and they give you life vests. Now, I don't know what about y'all, but I can't swim. So when my feet don't touch the ground, I start to freak out. And that's what happened. But I don't regret it at all. I had so much fun. Highly recommend, don't regret it at all. So, but there was some things that we did not get a chance to do. It's like a hot air balloon, and it takes you up. And they didn't have food, but it was like drinks in the sky. And we really wanted to do that, but they let us know in advance that we was going to have to get refunded because the gust wind was hazardous and we wasn't going to be able to do that anymore due to it being unsafe. So I ended up getting a refund for that. But if you get a chance to go, please put in the comments how that was the experience for you. Secondly, the beaches. We did not get a chance to go to the beach, which sucks, but the beaches in Tulum is not public. Now, Tulum is turning into more of a touristy location, and when we try to find the beaches, you have to go through like a beach club, which is like a restaurant. They told us it's like combined, and that it would cost us about $100 for us to like go to the beach, because we have to go through the beach club, which is included automatically. So there's no way for you to see a beach unless you pay for like going to a beach club, which sucks. Again, their beaches is not public, so you do have to pay. So if you want to go to see a beach, make sure you have extra money for that as well. One of my favorite things about Tulum was the food. The food was delectable. It was plateable. Chef kiss. Love the food. Have you ever just ate the food in America and your stomach is just cramping and it hurts and you're bloating? None of that occurred when we was in Mexico. The food there was so delicious, and I actually missed it. It did not make my stomach cramp up, did not make my stomach hurt. The food was so fresh, and that's one of my favorite things about the food. One thing I do want to let y'all know is that you cannot use the water there. So when we got to our hotel, they gave us a full glass of water to, brush our teeth with and to like drink out of if you wanted to drink out of that water, but we could not like use the water from the sink or anything like that. They highly suggest for us to not do that. Water could be very expensive. So one thing that you could do in advance is to go to like your convenience store that's nearby your hotel or resort or wherever you're staying in Tulum, and you can get water there, which will be cheaper. I feel like we end up spending a lot of money in the long run when it came to water because we did not prepare for that. When you want to be organized when you go outside the country, you want to know like, this is what we're planning on doing this day at this time. We had everything laid out, so we're not going there winging it and just kind of like, oh, we don't know what to do, because a lot of things you want to get in advance as far as tickets, because when you get there, and they sold out. Oh, and I forgot to mention, there was 2 other things that we didn't get a chance to do, which was one of the museums. So if you go to Tulum, I highly suggest for you to go to the museums. And there was another one, which was like a architecture, I think it was called the ruins. Those are really like, those are really historical places that is beautiful to see in person. It's kind of like one of those places that's breathtaking. So I highly suggest for you to do research and look at those places if you're interested in those type of things. They usually have packages like the ones that we did that has like a tour. If you like videos like this, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That means a lot and it really helps me. And also put in the comments if you've been to Tulum. If you've been to Tulum, what have you done? Did you like it? And if you haven't been to Tulum, tell me what advice will you plan on looking into, and let me know your experience and when you're going. I hope you enjoy your time. So if there's anything that y'all want me to talk about or do in future videos, please also put that in the comments as well. I need to know what y'all want to see, what y'all want me to talk about. I haven't really been on here that much, but that is all going to change. I just got to get some things in order. But once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Bye.